Hello everyone, it's GT time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including, for Brandon Jones, Ben Moore.
Hi.
In the regular seat that he's normally in, Daniel Bloodworth.
Hi.
In the super seat this week, Elise Willems.
Might as well just call it the Elise seat.
And making this all happen, Don Casanova.
Hello, world.
Hey, how you doing, Don?
Feeling great. Happy to be here.
Great.
Kyle, can I shoot out a quick disclaimer?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm just getting over a sickness, so if there's like an inadvertent cough or sniffle or something, or my voice just sounds all messed up, please forgive me.
I appreciate that kind of thing for the audience.
Yeah.
Now they understand.
What it actually means is that he hates you.
Yeah, that's fine as well.
Nope, no hate. Just getting over it.
We'll dub you.
I'm not used to feeling so positive at the top of the show, and I think it's because of Don saying hello world. Like, what a way to begin.
Hello, Earthlings.
Don is a support system.
Absolutely. We should mention that both Ian and Brandon are out for PAX. So if you see them at PAX, go ahead and shake their hands and say hi.
Somehow they got really early and really late flights. It's like they're getting the whole thing. They're going to soak it in.
Whole lot of Seattle.
When do they come
all
back?
the sweat.
When are they back?
Like
Sunday.
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah.
No. Why?
I don't know.
Lots to see at PAX.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Elise, you are in the super seat this week. We have a question for you. What is the best animal?
I mean, naturally dogs. I love dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows this.
Naturally.
Particularly older dogs I have a soft spot for. Though we talked about this a little bit on the stream, I think sloths are great animals. Not for the traditional hipster logic of why people like sloths, but I'll tell you a specific example of why.
Wow, okay.
Sloths will travel miles. They're a slow creature. They have one bowel movement a week, if lucky. They will travel miles across great distances to answer a mating call to have sex. But if their young falls from their tree, they will not risk the danger to go save them.
How do you know so much about sloths?
I read about sloths. I read up on sloths a long time ago. I went through a sloth phase. So that's how I know.
So they hear a mating call from miles away, and it's just like, ooh.
They're like, gotta get my fuck on.
Yeah.
Got a sloth.
Got a sloth.
Sloth's got a sloth.
But a child falls down a tree.
It's done. Sorry.
Did they just like kind of peer over the branch and be like, nope, sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can confirm.
Well, I think that's probably just because they realize, like, I'm not going to get there in time.
It's doing the math.
But they might get to that mate that wants to get
the
it
mate's
on.
safe.
Absolutely,
the mate's
yeah.
up in a tree.
The mate's up in another tree.
The baby's down on the ground where something much faster is going to come along and get it.
I respect them for that. Have you
Sure.
guys asked Don what his favorite animal is?
Tom, what is not favorite animal? What is the best animal?
The best animal.
I would have to say, much like the console wars, this dogs versus cats thing really needs to we need to move past it. But I do love cats.
Whoa.
They're my favorite creature. But, I had a lot of dogs growing up, so I have a lot of respect for dogs. It's just when you spend a little time with a cat, it's a wonderful creature to be with.
Well, you lucked out. You have some pretty enchanting cats.
Yes, little Jinxie and Tony and Geppetto.
All right, so hold on, though. What makes cats the best? You can't just say that they're the best.
You can leave them is a pretty important thing to me.
Immediately abandon them.
You don't have to be there 24 hours a day. You can leave them for days at a time if you have to. They'll be all right, as long as you leave some ice water, air conditioning, and plenty of wet food.
Don, thank you so much. Love the Don vibes.
Kyle clearly thinks that squirrels are the best.
Clearly he doesn't.
They'll shoot any squirrel. What was it? I'll drown 100 squirrels before I scare one girl. Let's move on to corrections. Don, begin corrections music, please. Here's what happened last week. Oh, the tool in the Amazon Game Studios logo is a French curve, and you probably would use it to make the smile in the logo.
Yeah.
Like that's like an actual like cool little artist tool. Rainbow is spelled R-A-I-N-B-O-W.
Slow down.
What happened?
Why couldn't you guys spell rainbow?
Kyle
It was
couldn't
just
spell
spelled
rainbow.
wrong on a slide.
Oh, I see.
Final Fantasy games and Chrono Cross were on the PlayStation, so technically Super Star Wars isn't the first Super Nintendo game on a PlayStation console.
Yeah, that's another common mistake.
Press Play is based in Copenhagen, Denmark, and Jackass is apparently popular there.
The show Jackass, like the MTV show?
Yeah. So somebody in Denmark might actually know who Johnny Knoxville is. It's a possibility. Last week we promised Ian's thoughts on Triple Triad and never pulled through on that, so we have his thoughts right here. It has too much stuff overlaid on it. It's weird that you have to have that whole other app. It has limited play crystals and other weird things. Game itself is fine. End corrections.
I love how you read Ian like a robot.
He just texted it. I just got it from text. But those are the official Game Trailers thoughts on Triple Triad. Until we, write that. That's it.
Yeah. We want to do some thoughts on Lara Croft Go, but we got to play some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Put that
So
through.
good.
So we're doing a cool, interesting thing with this week's episode. Of course, I've been on media blackout this week because I'm too scared of Metal Gear Solid 5 spoilers. I'm avoiding the internet. And so what we're doing, and I figured this might actually be fun, we are 1 week away from the beginning of the fall season of video games officially. And so what I wanted to do is just run through all of the games that are coming out this fall. Not even all of them, all of the bigger games, I guess we could say, that are coming out this year. They're all huge, and I wanted to get everybody's opinions on where they're at, how we feel about how they've been marketed or they're positioned, and how we think they might turn out, and just discuss it. I think it might be fun. I think it will be
I
fun.
think it's going to be great.
Let's talk about September.
September.
Because on September 1st, we're seeing the releases of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and Mad Max.
Kyle,
We're okay. We're in kind of awkward positions on these.
you could stop talking about the rest of these games. Like, you've got
That's a good fall.
dozens other games here.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Like, if the Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain is the last game you buy this year,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
You're set.
You're set.
Blood, why are we in an awkward position about this?
Well, I guess he's not. Well, he's sort of in an awkward position because he knows spoilers. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any spoilers.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying.
It's a great game. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
What about Mad Max, Blood? You can't talk about Mad Max?
I shouldn't talk about Mad Max.
Okay. Elise, can you talk
Whoa.
about Mad Max?
Yeah, for days.
Does it have a chance?
I think this game should have come out this month in
Sure.
August. It
Yes.
should have come out 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Or maybe when the movie came out.
Yeah.
Or maybe when the movie came out.
Well, I think it's too huge. I think they just couldn't hit that release date.
I think from the trailers and what we've seen, this game does a really good job of capturing that universe, capturing that world. The fact that, there's limited ammo, you've got to scavenge and use what you can to defend yourself. Just dragging pieces of junk through the desert. Like, this is a Mad Max game. This is awesome. It looks really, really cool. Some people might be turned off thinking that it has kind of, people being Ian. If you don't like the kind of like Batman style of combat, maybe you'll be a little turned off. But I think it's going to be rad. I'm actually looking forward to playing this, and it's not the kind of game that I traditionally gravitate toward.
Cool.
I feel like Mad Max has not done a good enough job of making itself seem like a big deal.
No, it's almost
Sure.
like it doesn't want to be like, I'm a good game, I'm a special game.
Yeah, I feel like we heard about Mad Max, like, oh, hey, they're working on it. Hey, Avalanche is doing it. And then there hasn't been that same build-up that you usually get with a lot of other games.
I think
feel like it's just sort of-
when they did that reveal trailer a few months back, that was, I
but
think
but
that
the
said a
key
lot more about.
phrase is a few months back.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it stayed in the dark for a long time.
Yeah.
Then when we saw it, it's like, oh, okay, this is a lot. There's a lot more to this than I
And it's
thought
coming
there
out
would be.
Tuesday.
Yeah, where's the
Yeah.
hype
Where's the
right
hype?
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Hubert-
that's true. I don't know where the hype is.
Hubert
at the
needs to do a
moment.
hype check on Mad Max and let us know where we're at in that game.
No, we're all into Metal Gear Solid 5.
I
And I
know.
think that's
Exactly.
the issue with it.
I'm
Yeah.
actually looking, like, I'm not super into Metal Gear, so I'll probably be checking out Mad Max.
Sure. Whoa.
Yeah.
We need somebody to play it. On September 11th, we're seeing Mario Maker on the Wii U. Is this Nintendo's big game of the fall? Is this where everything's getting into?
I think it's bigger than some people are giving it credit for.
Why do you
I
think
agree
that?
with that.
Because as people have been digging into it more and more, like they're just finding a lot more tricks, learning. I mean, they actually feel like they're learning about game design, and like it's not just about making things that are really super hard. So yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of creativity out there, and it'll be interesting to see what people really actually do with it.
Yeah, I forgot to call it Super Mario Maker.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like there are surprises in here, and I feel like maybe Splatoon style, there are surprises to come.
Right.
You know, like, because basically, help me explain this. You unlock more of the game based off time. Based off, like, it says, like, we'll unlock more of this game for you at this time on this date. That's how that works, right?
Yes.
Do you think that's a good idea, Ben?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Because why are you making the people that are most enthusiastic and capable with this sort of thing, why are you putting them behind this arbitrary wall?
Okay, what's up?
So my stance has been with this game that this is Nintendo's attempt to activate their community.
Sure.
Because they have very, very few ways of doing that because they're so closed and online play is so closed off. But I do think that making these invisible walls for people with content is also their attempt at making this game have some longevity. Like, that's their goal now, is because, like, the only time we pick up Mario Kart is when there's new DLC for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have packaged it in a better way. Like, just saying we're withholding it from you is weird.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, it could have. It is a matter of presentation. Apparently, I cannot confirm this, but somebody that has played the game said that you can mess with that stuff via your internal clock.
Oh, that's funny.
So
that's very funny.
It's
So
not
it's
hard
not
work.
it's not like a server delivery. It's just because you started play
Yeah.
with what we gave you first, and then in a couple of days. So then
Again,
I
I'm not
like,
100% on that.
weird.
I don't want to go
Yeah.
on the record stating that as fact, but that is what I've heard.
But I got to be honest, if that's an option, I will take it.
Absolutely, me too.
Yeah, because I would love to have all the tools at
Yeah,
once.
absolutely.
The one we played on that first day was actually kind of limited. I think we had like 3 enemies and like pipes we couldn't travel through and things like that, you know?
The entire appeal of this game is, to me, Mario unhinged, right? That you're
Yes.
throwing as many crazy elements as you can and seeing what you can come up with.
Can I tell you the thing I'm excited for with Mario Maker?
Absolutely.
If people do it, if like Kojima's like, I just messed around in Mario Maker and I made a level, go play my Kojima made Mario Maker. Like, that'd be
Yes.
so much fun.
And it's
Yeah.
about nuclear proliferation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
The number one thing that I'm looking forward to Mario Maker, and I hope it achieves this, every single game that I've played, whenever you say there's a map editor or a level maker or whatever it is in your game, I'm immediately intimidated.
Whoa.
I'm like, even if you're making this easy, quote unquote, it seems overwhelming to me.
Sure.
I never have fun with it because it seems like too much. And then I go and I see what other people can do, and I'm like, oh man, I could never be able to do that. The way Mario Maker is designed, and from what I've played of it, it is making the act of creation a game in and of itself.
Yeah.
And it is far more approachable than anything I've ever messed around with. And if it can let me cross that barrier, I think that's huge. And I think that's huge not only for me, but for a bunch of other people as well. Like, Mario Maker feels like a Nintendo game. It doesn't feel like a Nintendo tool, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
So-
Well, we have someone here, Dawn, who loves level editors and map creators. How do you feel about it? Are you going to buy a Wii U?
I'm pretty excited about this game. I didn't know about the timed.
We're going to cheat.
restrictions.
Don't worry, we're going to cheat to get over through that.
But I'm excited about that. But Ben, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like that's what actually got me so into the Trials level editor. Was it the whole time you're doing it? Once you get over, the learning curve of just how to operate the editing tools, then it becomes like a game, where it's like so entertaining
Right.
while you're designing it. It's not the type of thing where it takes you forever to get to a point where you can play test your level and have fun. It's like constantly fun. So I'm hoping Mario will be the same way. It's hard for me to imagine if it will or not. I know I was like really wishing they would have made it a 3D Mario Maker, because then I could imagine it being like that, because then you're always in this 3D world you're creating, but I don't know if it's any different.
First things first. Don, I can't wait to play your levels. I'm stoked for them.
Yeah.
I'm excited actually to work on it. And it's funny because I'm the opposite of you, Ben. I think like anytime I hear about a level editor, I get excited.
Right.
Even though I'm not, good at like all of them or anything like that. It's just because I love doing that. And then I've even thought in the past, like, man, I just wish every single game actually had some form of level editor, even if it wasn't that deep. I just thought like it should be like a multiplayer thing at this point, where it's just like a required thing where they throw in a level editor. It's like,
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like a lot of games don't think that people want that in a weird way. Even I think the Phantom Pain would be really fun if you could design your own missions. Like, there are so many variables in that game that get thrown at you, and so many different ways that you can approach things. Like I don't know, I think it'd be cool.
And
Rockstar's
it makes you, sorry, Elise. It makes you appreciate the games. At least me, I don't know. I always appreciate the game way more. It really makes you realize the simplest little things that you take for granted in the game. You know what goes into doing it. But yeah, Mario Maker will probably be so user friendly. It'll be like addictive, like crazy.
Rockstar's Movie Maker editor comes to PS4 and Xbox One this month. So I think it would be fun to do a stream with Dawn, especially. Where
Making
we
some movies?
Make some movies.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I got a couple of games here that we probably don't have to talk about for too long. Skylanders Superchargers and Lego Dimensions both come out on September 20th.
What's the next game?
Okay, next game is...
I'm kidding. We can talk about them.
It's cool. They're both taking down that September 20th date. Poor Lego. What are you gonna do?
Do the Bowser and Donkey Kong characters come out with Skylanders on that launch date? Do you know?
Yeah.
The way I feel about Skylanders is the way my grandparents feel about video games, I think. And I don't mean that in an offensive way.
No.
It's just like, oh,
yeah,
there's another one of those happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just like very distant recognition with no emotion attached to it. I have nothing against Skylanders. I just don't inhabit the same space.
I think Lego is cheaper, but honestly, yeah. I mean, if Brandon were here, maybe we'd have a more thoughtful conversation. But, they'll do what they do. On the 25th of September, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer comes out for 3DS.
So we have Happy Home Designer, but we skip Forza. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
When is Forza, Blood?
I'm pretty sure it's the 15th.
Okay, September 15th is Forza. Blood, you can't talk about too much about this, if I understand correctly.
Right.
But do you think it will be a big deal? Its release. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting because I feel like they've finally done things that the fans have been asking for since the beginning, like adding rain and night races. But I don't feel like there's as much excitement as there has been in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like starting to get into a Madden situation where it's like, okay, yeah, Forza's out, and it's got some new stuff, and here's some tweaks to some old stuff, and they made things better, and all right.
I definitely felt that at E3.
There feels like there's less promotion coming out from Term 10. That used to be their jewel, right? One of Microsoft's big things, but yeah.
It's because in their montages they can't just show a car while they're showing Marcus Phoenix's face and Lara Croft's face.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
not gritty enough. Though there was literal grit on the ground.
But at the same time, it's like when they announce the next Gran Turismo, I feel like that will be a big deal for Sony fans.
Well, sure, those are separated by 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I'm starting to wonder if having Forza on such a rhythmic cycle, literally every other year, is starting to kind of just make it not an event. Yeah,
and it's really hard to make a yearly game an event. You need $1 million Madden commercials, basically, to make it feel special at all, which we'll get to. We got a sigh from Ben. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Those Madden commercials.
We'll get to it. Do we want to say anything about Happy Home Designer? Here's what I'm mad about with Happy Home Designer.
I'm angry.
Yeah, it's a 3DS game that is only moving around interior designs of Animal Crossing houses. It is more expensive than the good Animal Crossing game on 3DS. That's what really breaks my heart.
You do that in Animal... Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize how good Animal Crossing New Leaf is.
Yes.
Rarely am I so... I'm utterly in love with that game. Every time I think about the time I spent with New Leaf, I'm just happy. That was a game and a world and a place that I really, really cared about. This is a slap in the face to all those feelings, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah.
And people just are clamoring and waiting and hoping for a Wii U game, and it's just not going to come. Instead, I would almost rather, if you're not going to do a proper sequel and you're not going to do right by your fans, just wait. Wait until the time is right, rather than release these crappy games that no one cares about.
Well, with Happy Home Designer in particular, it comes with a little scanner for your 3DS.
It's just a gimmick.
For cards. Yeah, for the cards. I guess I just wish it was cheaper, and Nintendo took a loss on it just to sell the cards or something. But
sure.
This idea that it's this ultra expensive luxury product to sell you more cards just breaks my heart.
You guys are going to hate me for saying this, but as I get older, I feel like a game like New Leaf, I'm sort of wasting my time putting a lot of time into playing a game like this, because to me, a narrative adventure is the accomplishment of a game to me. Like, that's just how I look at games. Like, I get a full, fulfilling experience, beginning, middle, end. I don't feel that way as much with games like New Leaf anymore. This feels like a total waste of time. Like, I could just take a day and then just throw it down a toilet and press flush.
See, as I've gotten older, a lot of game narratives have gotten less satisfying for me. And so I've been more interested in the mechanical aspects of games as I've gotten older.
That's very interesting.
I've done the inverse of that.
That's fair enough. Even like Lara Croft Go, which I just started playing this morning, which is just like puzzles. I still feel like I'm getting something more out of it.
A progression. Sure.
And satisfaction that I'm not getting out of games like that. But that's a whole other thing.
At least I think I want to have a talk with you about Animal Crossing.
You can sit me down after the show?
Yeah. All the thoughts that you used to have about Animal Crossing, I had as well. I was like, this game is just a waste of time. I felt the same way about The Sims. But then I committed myself to doing a full dive into New Leaf, and I walked away a lover.
I played New Leaf, but yeah.
Okay.
Like I said.
Okay.
We're flipping pages on our calendar.
Sorry, Ben.
We're moving into October.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
I'm very excited about one of our first October releases, Transformers Devastation.
Yeah, that game came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere and is still coming out of nowhere, I feel like. It might be huge. This game has like a huge propensity to be like bad or great, you know?
Yeah.
Basically based off what Korra was, Legend of Korra last year, also Activision, also Platinum.
I feel like this is different from the Legend of Korra situation, though, because with Legend of Korra, we all went on faith. Like, this has Platinum's name associated with it. It can't be bad, and then it turns out it was terrible. I feel like with Transformers, people have played it, and they're like, no, wait, this is actually good based on what we've played.
Sure.
So I feel like it's a different situation.
You're right. With Korra, we didn't even see it basically until it released.
Yeah,
I feel like downloadable only is a little bit of a mistake on their part.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Transformers is very much somebody walks into a store, doesn't know this game exists, sees the box, and like, oh, impulse buy, I think that it's a little harder to get that with the stores unless you're like really doing a promotion.
Yeah, maybe, I bet it'll eventually have a physical release, if not at first, because even like when they release Angry Birds, Activision does, that has a box. And you're totally right, Blood. This could do really well at retail if it's like $30 or $40.
My wild-eyed fantasy is when I was a kid, I played like the Turtles in Time, and I saw that Konami made it. And when I went into the store, I was like, I like Turtles in Time. It's made by Konami. Maybe I will like these other Konami games. And that's like how I encountered like Super Castlevania 4 and all this stuff.
That's really interesting.
My dream is that there's a kid out there that finds like Metal Gear Rising through Transformers.
And it's scarred for life.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way.
That wouldn't scar any of us for life. Further on,
it would turn that, man.
Ooh, this is interesting. Next is Rock Band 4, also on September 6th. Beating Guitar Hero Live to the punch, but only just barely.
It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
That one weekend, it's going to be good.
I feel like this weird narrative has already happened with Rock Band 4, don't you?
What do you mean?
Like, the initial story was, oh man, Rock Band's coming back, that's cool. And now it just sort of feels like, yeah, there's this new Rock Band game coming out.
Oh, it feels familiar.
Yeah,
for sure.
It does. It's already kind of found that familiar groove, and I don't see anyone like jumping up and down for a new Rock Band.
At least do you? You think this is?
It will be big in the Willems' house. We will be playing Rock Band. That's September 6th.
Yeah.
We're going to a luau themed party that weekend. We'll maybe bring the Rock Band with us.
Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I am looking forward to it. I do agree with you. It's part of the zeitgeist again, which I'm into because I would take another Rock Band. I think they didn't need to do a full game. They could have just started making songs available again.
Well, under just the name Rock Band, maybe? Yeah. That might have been a good idea. Especially with Rock Band 4, I think, we'll talk about Guitar Hero Live a little bit later, but they're doing the least changes. With Rock Band 4, they're doing the least amount of, hey, this is different, this is different, this is different. They're kind of just like, hey, it's here. Rock Band's back.
Oh, I think there's a bit of a necessity because they have to get it on the new platforms. I mean, people aren't buying, 360 and PS3 games hardly at all anymore. Mm-hmm. So there's that if you're going to bring it back in any way, you have to have a new release of some kind.
Upgrade the peripherals. But except a lot of our instruments are wired, and that new Xbox, like they're releasing that little hub that you can use so your wireless instruments work. But I think we're out of luck with our wired instruments.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Blood, you know how you were saying no one's making games for 360 or PS3 anymore? I had this really bizarre moment when I turned on my PS3 like a couple nights ago, and I hadn't turned it on in a really long time. And for the first time, the PS3 felt old. And because the PS3 felt old, and I was recognizing that it felt old, I felt old. Like, never in my life have I felt like more of an old man.
That will keep happening, Ben.
You know?
That will keep happening.
Ben's
Oh my
mortality
God.
is tied to the PS3.
It should be noted, last month in the NPDs, at least in the U.S., the #1 selling game was Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, Lego Jurassic
Wow.
World, led by 360 sales, and I think PS3 right behind
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
Wow. Do you,
So I think there's a market on those two consoles that you can nail. You can nail down, I mean, essentially children probably that are like still playing those games. Rock Band might tie in with that kind of thing.
do you think the release of Rock Band 4 is timed with students heading back to university, back to college? That's when you're playing Rock Band with
I'm
your
going to say
buddies.
that's by chance, but what a
Purely
great way
by
to break the
chance.
ice. What a like just
Right?
give it a chance. Hey, do you want? We're playing Rock Band this weekend.
Come by my dorm.
Like, you can sing any song you want. We're gonna have a good time. Let's talk about Dragon Quest Heroes on October 13th. I'm into it.
Ben's got some time into the import.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me.
Isn't it cool we're at least getting this game in the first place?
It's super cool. Yeah, and it's a good Muso game.
Sure.
It carries a lot of elements from Dragon Quest into that format, which I really appreciate.
Do you think anything rides on its success in terms of other Dragon Quest games getting over here?
You know, at this point, I'm so paranoid
Yeah.
about it that I read into everything.
Yeah.
Like, I want 1 million people to buy this game to ensure that we get Dragon Quest 8.
Can 1 million people buy this game?
Can they? Yes. Will they? No.
I think they might. Hyrule Warriors did pretty well, Wii U wise.
But the cachet that Zelda has is not the same
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Dragon Quest. Although I have to wonder, and I think we've seen this happen already, there have been a lot of articles saying the West cares about Dragon Quest, give us Dragon Quest, and kind of building up this story that, no, hey, we actually do care about this thing. That affects the sales of these games. It does. When that narrative takes hold, people kind of get behind it. I wonder if that will be true here.
So it's on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Let's
don't
see
know.
what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
This
But
is
I think it'll be a good game on its own.
Is this coming to the Wii U or the 3DS?
No.
Oh, it's coming to
4.
PS4. Maybe PS3 in
Whoa.
the US. I'm not sure, honestly. But it is a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh.
I think it's just PS4.
Okay, it
and
might
it,
be just
and
PS4.
it looks spectacular.
It's a really nice looking game,
Yeah.
yeah. We should move on to Guitar Hero Live. No, we don't have to talk about that too much. But yeah, that's on the 20th, same month. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is on October 23rd. A chilling silence
Yeah.
spans across the studio.
It's I still haven't even played Unity. It's on my system, but I haven't played it.
You own that game.
I own that game. It came with my Xbox One.
At
but
this point, you never will, right?
I don't know. I
Are
don't
there
know.
people out there pre-ordering Syndicate? you
Many.
think?
There
yeah,
has to be,
yeah.
yeah.
I'd say more than most of the other games we talked about so far.
Did you skip Soma?
I did skip Soma. Do you want to talk about Soma?
Yeah, I'm so excited for that game.
Why?
Because I played the preview and it's great.
What is Soma?
Soma is a horror, first-person horror, and I can't talk about it without spoiling the story.
Don't spoil it.
But
It's the space one, though, right? We're on a space
No,
station?
underwater.
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
There's something I like about the game that hits me personally that I really enjoy that they did, which I can't reveal. But
Whoa.
I'm looking forward to this game.
So
that's
we
it.
officially used our Syndicate time for Soma.
Sorry.
So, no, I mean, I think everybody appreciates that.
Yeah.
Like, who at this table is hyped for Soma? Anybody?
Super
I
hype.
think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting it on people's radar now, though. That's what a cool thing to do. Soma, officially
8 things
endorsed.
to know about Soma on the GT Reviews hub.
Is that,
Yeah,
is that a
it's-
video you made?
Yeah.
It's made by the people
Okay.
who did Amnesia Dark Descent.
Yes.
Which is really all that needs to be said, I
Cool.
feel like.
Awesome. All right, well, look forward to that if you're not looking forward to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Let's talk about Zelda Triforce Heroes on October 23rd. It's a 3DS game, multiplayer Zelda game.
I'm into it. I know you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please be into it. Let's put some positivity on this podcast.
Sure. I really like the A Link Between Worlds engine. Messing around with 3 friends in a world that doesn't have a lot of consequence to me sounds like a ton of fun, because I love Zelda so much, and just experiencing it with you guys, like playing with you and Elise and Bloodworth and Huber.
Kyle always trolls.
I was gonna play it alone.
Well,
Mostly because I assume no one's gonna play with me.
well,
you know,
whoever I end up playing it
We'll
with.
play with Elise. 3
Uh,
of us, we'll be fine.
So
We'll
Bloodworth,
be
Kyle out
Triforce
of it.
Heroes.
you're in? You're in on this game too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm in.
it's just
I think you're the only one, Kyle.
sometimes there are games where you think to yourself, how could this not be fun? And that's how I feel about Triforce Heroes. It has all of the elements that I am looking forward to. Zelda multiplayer, this engine that I really like, the controls, the feel of it. How could this not be fun?
The puzzles will be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Okay. This is why I'm so excited about this. I want to look back to this episode at the end of the year. Like, we're all saying things that I'm sure I'm going to regret half the things I say. And so I like making these statements on these games.
Okay.
It's fun. It's fun to guess.
Yeah.
The way that you brought that up makes me feel like you think I'm totally wrong about Triforce Heroes.
This game, I think, will be, like, very poorly reviewed.
Really?
That's my guess. My guess is that
Okay.
it'll be very
Oh
poorly
my gosh.
reviewed. I think that's coming for it.
Oh,
You know,
boy.
my fear
Yeah.
is that, like many Nintendo releases, they will send us 1 copy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, let us figure out how to play Triforce Heroes with 1 copy.
A digital
Who else
code,
got
too.
one?
Yeah.
Warp Zone, did you guys get one?
Yeah, there's a lot of people around in LA. The highlight of October 27th, Halo 5 Guardians. So, Bloodworth, we talked earlier about the maddening of Forza. Does Halo 5 feel like a big deal?
I think it feels like a bigger deal. Yeah, I think the multiplayer's kind of turned that around with the Warzone. I think I don't know. I'm still skeptical on the single player. I don't know where really that story is. Whether that story is really going to pay off. I'm like, yes. But you know, maybe it'll surprise us on that front. But yeah, I think the multiplayer will definitely hit it big.
Ben, are you in? Is it going to hit it big?
From what I've played of the multiplayer, I've loved it. So I totally echo Blood's sentiments. The thing that I'm worried about is the story, because let's be real. We've already seen the arc of Master Chief. Like, as a character, I feel like we've gotten most of what we can out of him. Yet they're still making him a huge part of the story, although he's weirdly de-emphasized.
Yeah.
Like, he's only part of this much bigger narrative. But I don't trust that we can make these other parts feel as substantial and significant as Master Chief. And so I'm worried that I'm going to play this game and not care about anything that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's highly possible. But at least you'll be playing with 3 other buddies,
Unlike
Yeah.
Triforce Heroes.
which is only 2 buddies.
I think, and this may be
Yeah.
a controversial statement, I think in a lot of ways, like Master Chief, he's like an icon, like Link. And so all the attachment we had to the story previously was not really because it was Master Chief, it was because we were doing these things that were happening. And so as you start turning Master Chief into an actual character, it starts to feel a little weird. And I think that's where this disconnected thing comes up.
Wow,
Because
Blood. That's interesting.
It's like, no, he's a guy in a helmet. Like, he doesn't have a face, you know?
I absolutely get that. Especially when it's like he's in love with Cortana. It gets real weird. It gets a little freaky.
I'm just worried. I don't want Halo 5 to feel like we had to make another Halo game, so this is what we did with this story.
Yeah.
That's not the feeling I want to walk away from. I want to walk away saying, no, they had this story to tell, and it came across really, really well. Like, this game feels like it has a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Halo 5 will make people look at Destiny any differently.
Oh, good question.
But,
what do you think?
I don't know.
Like, in which way?
In the sense that it maybe will make Destiny look not as bad to people.
That's interesting.
Like,
yeah.
they might be like, oh, actually, like, kind of a lot of the things that Halo 5 is doing, Destiny is doing as well.
Yeah.
Do you think it could have the opposite effect,
It
where
could,
Halo
very
5
much.
makes Destiny look a lot worse?
Very much so.
Because I think Warzones might actually be huge because basically it's you and your buddies just doing cool stuff
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
I think that might be really good.
It-
That might be good.
It was one of the best things that I played at E3. It
Wow.
feels huge, and it's a blast, and it is a great direction for Halo multiplayer based on, the 30 minutes that I spent with it. So, I think Warzone is going to be a big deal.
It's now November 2015. The leaves are changing. We can smell the turkeys from here. On November 3rd, Need for Speed releases.
It's going to be huge, even if it's not good.
Do you think it's going to be huge?
People are so buzzed about it. I don't even understand why.
What do you mean people are so buzzed about it?
Just like it's been like one of the most popular things that we put up from E3.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, and I feel like I haven't seen anything that like this
It's not
isn't
for
that
you.
different.
It's way different.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it is going back to that underground era where they've, it's kind of funny because as Criterion and now Ghost Games has taken on Need for Speed, they've kind of experimented with each of the older Need for Speed eras, and now this one is supposed to be the definitive mix of all of them, but it's like, no, this is underground.
Yeah. Right, because we had what? We had Most Wanted.
We had Hot Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit.
And then we had Most Wanted.
Yep.
And now we're going into basically underground. But it's weird because I feel every time that when I play at a D3, I'm very skeptical of Need for Speed, and then when I play the final product, I come around. So we'll see if that happens again. But I'm in that place again. I'm in that place where like this 5-tier system where like, okay, you get points for modifying your car, and you get points for, being around other drivers, and you get all these points that are related to things that are not about racing.
Yeah. So
It feels kind of weird.
if I understand correctly, one of the pillars is crew, and you get points for finishing a race close to your crew, as opposed to just winning straight ahead way
Yeah.
past them. That is insane. That's crazy. I hope that works.
And then they have the whole, they're going back to the live action thing and like really
yeah.
mixing it in with the in-game stuff, which, I mean, some of the examples I've seen so far were actually kind of worked. It was like, oh, I'm looking at the game now. Like they just made that transition, and like I didn't realize you made that transition right there.
Cool. So you're not even bothered by the live action stuff.
I mean, it's definitely just a little silly, icing on the cake, but yeah.
Will this game have any local play?
I don't actually know.
That's a good try. We want some split screen?
Fun
it'd be
game
good.
for us to do.
Need for Speed.
Yeah, if we
It
live stream
It
that.
probably doesn't.
Probably doesn't though. Like,
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Get it together. No, I mean,
That's worth mentioning. Halo 5 has no split screen.
That's a bad
Isn't that
call.
crazy?
That's a bad call.
I love some split screen. And I mean, it doesn't
Me too.
happen very often, and I'm sure their numbers show, like, we see that 5% of our players use split screen. It's just such a weird thing. I don't know. It is hard, I think, for them to rationalize spending the money on it these days.
yeah.
Ben,
What are you
has nothing.
thinking?
Ben simply frowns.
I want to know.
It's just I feel like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everybody's cutting it out, and so when it is in there once in a while and no one uses it, it's because they don't expect it. It's like because every single time I play the game, Huber will ask me, "Oh, does it have split screen?" I'm like, "Actually, I don't know." And it's just like, if you want people to use your thing, celebrate it, make it
Yeah.
a bigger deal, make it be like, "No, this is best played on a couch with your friends." I think people really respond to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. If you make it a big deal.
Right? You can't just like hide it away and expect people to freak out about it.
November 6th, potentially one of the biggest games of the year, Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
I am super excited for this.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I did not see this coming.
Yeah.
Why are you super excited about a Call of Duty game?
Right. So I've been playing the beta.
Okay.
I really like the beta.
What do you
a
like
lot.
about it?
I like. So it's definitely an evolution from Advanced Warfare, but I feel like the mobility in this game is sort of, it's better than Titanfall. It's better than like any of the wall jumping stuff that I've done in any other first person shooter. It just, there's a feel to it that is absolutely fantastic. All of
Cool.
the crazy stuff you want to do is super simple to comprehend and perform. The other thing that I really like is I feel like Treyarch, since Black Ops 1, has been making Call of Duty kind of, every time they release one, more of its own thing. And the way that this is sort of infusing sci-fi elements that are kind of comic booky feels very distinct and different than anything else Call of Duty has touched. I think the specialists are fantastic. I really love the lady with the bow. Like, getting a kill streak where you just are firing these explosive arrows is completely ridiculous, but it works.
And it's hard. It's a hard weapon to use.
It is a hard weapon to use,
Cool.
but it's a challenge that I haven't experienced before in a Call of Duty game, and I think that's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being positive about
Yeah,
that.
I'm really, really excited about it. I don't think I've been this pumped for Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2.
Do you two think this could have an upswing for Call of Duty games?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think they kind of got on the right track last year with Advanced Warfare, and everything I've been saying about this definitely feels more positive, feels more distinctive. That, you know, even though there will still be a lot of people on the outside looking in and saying it's just the same game, that I don't think it will feel the same for people that are playing it.
Yeah, I think it brings the brand back around that got kind of lost with Ghosts.
Sure.
And Advanced Warfare did seem really cool. I'm not into Call of Duty. I picked up the beta controller for 30 seconds and just got annihilated. But I actually am really, really into the zombies mode for this one.
That's worth bringing up for sure.
Yeah, the cast, just Jeff Goldblum, Heather Graham. I'm into that. I think the vibe is really cool for that. So I actually do want to kind of make an effort to become decent at this game so I can play the zombies mode.
Sure.
Or you could just not become decent and find other people that are not decent.
True.
But the thing is, I think you could easily just buy the game, play zombies mode, and still have a fun time with the game.
Yeah, that's what I think is
Definitely.
crazy. Is
Yeah.
Zombies is so different and so robust now that it almost feels crazy that it's in the same release.
Yeah.
Like, why is this just not its own game?
Maybe they're positioning it that way. At this point,
Yeah.
like that's the most game in one $60 box. you can
Zombies
get.
every
It's
March
crazy.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then Call of Duty in
It'd
fall.
be like Red Dead Nightmare.
Yeah.
Would be the perfect way to do zombies for COD. Ben says no.
No, it would be.
It would just be very obvious that they're doing that.
I feel like Treyarch is able to. This is hard to explain, but I feel like they're able to strike this ridiculous tone that the other studios just can't. Like, people don't remember this, but in Call of Duty Ghost, there was a separate mode, like a horde type mode where you fought aliens, and they're like, "Look at this crazy fun mode," and it just felt like it was trying too hard. It felt like it missed the mark. Whereas nothing feels quite like Zombies. Like, it has this humor and this ridiculousness to it that just works. Like, it really believes in itself. It's not trying to mimic anything. It's just kind of creating its own space. And I think Treyarch as a whole, with their ridiculous Mason Tell Me the Numbers story, is able to do that. Like, I feel like they treat Call of Duty with the amount of seriousness that it deserves, and I really respect that. I don't know.
That's nice to hear, Ben. I appreciate anyone in our biz defending Call of Duty. You know,
Okay.
it's an easy target.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
some of those games are really good.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them, and then some of them are total stinkers,
Right,
for sure.
right.
Yeah. Yokai Watch, November 6th.
Yokai are not ghosts. They are not spirits. They are yokai.
Are you gonna pick this up, Kyle?
I'm probably gonna pick this up. I'll give it a shot. It's a Pokemon off year. I don't know what's going on with Pokemon, so like I
Yokai's going on
I gotta
with
fill
Pokemon.
that void. That might be, yeah. And so yeah, this is basically filling that void. I feel like everyone's going to compare it to Pokemon. The bet that week will be how many times they mention Pokemon in the reviews. Can this game succeed in the U.S. as it has in Japan? Do we have room?
I
for
think that's
another
almost
one?
unpredictable.
Yeah.
I think it could be gigantic. It could be just pass through the night, nobody cares. I really don't know. I don't know where the kids market is at really that well enough to be able to tell if they're going to jump on it. And a lot's going to have to do with the stuff surrounding it, you know, the shows and everything else.
The toys.
Yeah.
I see come November, come holiday season, I see boatloads of grandmothers, grandfathers, fathers, aunts, uncles going into, GameStops and saying, my grandson, my child likes Pokemon. Can I have the new Pokemon game? And they'll say, no, there is no Pokemon, but there is this game, Yokai Watch.
Yeah.
So I think it will do really, really well in that respect. Like you said, it being an off Pokemon year, that audience, especially the child audience, the Christmas gift giving, Hanukkah, etc. gift giving audience will benefit very much from Yokai Watch.
There's a lot of competition for that right now with Infinity and Skylanders and the Lego Dimensions.
Sure.
Do you think the name is prohibitive?
I would have, but Pokemon made it. Like
Pokemon is still easily broken down. There's like pocket monsters. Oh, I get it. You know, like, and that soon gets forgotten. But it was sort of out there when the series first launched.
Yeah, I mean, if it was called Ghosty Watch, yeah, it would have sold millions more. Name it Ghosty Watch. Don't be too proud.
Ghost Grabbers.
Ghost Grabbers. No, you know what? I kind of think like you got to stick with Yokai Watch. I think like you call them yokai in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get people talking your lingo. I see why they would name it Yokai Watch.
I'm not against it. I was just genuinely curious.
Yeah.
Will we see yokai join the general consciousness?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you see, that's why I think Nintendo keeps doing this weird thing where they're afraid to call them ghosts and stuff because of people that are nervous that like it's some occult thing. Don't get your kids the occult game. You know, like why else is Nintendo being defensive about this?
I hope that kind of thing isn't still happening. Huge game. Oh my gosh. On November 10th, Fallout 4.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
I'm so scared of this game.
What, scared why?
Because one of us is going to have to review it. It might end up being me.
What's scary?
I hope they give it to me 4 weeks ahead of time.
Tell everybody what's scary about reviewing a Fallout game.
It's just, it's enormous, especially with Fallout 3 or Skyrim. Going through the main story doesn't really do anything for you. Like, you have to venture out into the wasteland and find what's out there to really see what's the most worthwhile.
It almost feels like there's no review you could do of Fallout 4 that wouldn't be completely incomplete. You know what I mean?
I think everyone that reviews it will be approaching this game from a completely different way and have a completely different perspective.
Right.
Just because it's so big.
And then the other thing, too, is just that, you know, kind of how as we were talking about Mario Maker earlier, like now they have this whole base building aspect. That, like Ben, that's very intimidating to me too. Oh, okay. And I need to invest a significant amount of time into this aspect of the game, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not making progress. I'm just building a base. So it's tough. And then like how much of that's going to factor in because they talk about economies and things moving from one city to the next and all of that.
So this is arguable, but amongst this list, Fallout 4 might have. It's some of the best pedigree that we're looking at.
Yeah.
It has one of the highest potentials of greatness.
It'll be gigantic.
Do you think it will achieve greatness though? I'm not even talking about the size of the game itself, but like, you know, will it be game of the year? Will it blow everyone away like we want it to?
I'm strangely worried about Fallout 4.
What could go wrong though? A thoughtful pause for listeners.
It could be completely broken.
Oh, sure.
Like everyone has to accept that Fallout 4 could be utterly broken.
It'll at least be a little broken. That's almost guaranteed, right?
Right, but
I just hope that the amount of time that they're putting into this actually like shows that like I think that will be a proving thing. Like if Fallout 4 ships and it's got the same weird buggy mess that Fallout 3 and Skyrim had for a while on consoles, you know, it's like come on guys, what you because they've been saying that basically the game was finished. When they showed it at E3, the game is finished content-wise, and they're just polishing all of these months.
Yeah.
And if you take half a year to just polish the game and you still have a huge mess, then you're going to kind of lose faith in the future games.
I mean, the funny thing is, though, in Skyrim's case, it was very buggy, especially on PS3, but people still bought it in droves. You know, it was hugely successful.
Yeah, because the mod community, you know, it just keeps living. You know, like Skyrim is still very, very active.
Yeah.
As old as it is, because people, you know, keep tweaking it.
Everything can be fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it will do very well, is my guess. But yeah, I could, you know, you could see it going bad. You can see it going sour. At least, how do you feel? You're looking off. You're not certain about Fallout 4's future.
I think it'll do well, sales-wise. I think it will do really well. But yeah, I don't know. It might not get, you know, across the board 9 and 10s. We might not see that. I don't know. I mean, you probably think Metal Gear is Game of the Year, right?
Well, we should not have that conversation yet. Yeah, that's why I said it was debatable. I think Metal Gear Solid obviously has a higher pedigree in my own book, but yeah, I can see where people would all argue Fallout.
Everything about Fallout 4 doesn't seem real to me. I think that's the thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around. with a game like Fallout 4, something that people have been anticipating since Fallout 3, I expected it to be cryptically announced and then information to slowly trickle out over the course of years. For them to say, here's Fallout 4, it's coming out in a few months, it's just really unsettling to me.
It was awesome.
You know,
I love it.
I love it too,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
You know what I
think
mean?
there's still that sense of like, you're really gonna put this out in November?
Sure.
You're sure it's not gonna slip till March?
Here's a game that will definitely not slip. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Xbox exclusive for this year. So that comes out on November 10th as well. Same day as Fallout. Brutal.
Yeah.
Can that game perform this year? Can it, how will that do?
I think Rise of the Tomb Raider will review very, very well.
Yeah? Why is that?
I'm so happy that they're not straddled with the origin story of Lara Croft anymore. That we don't have to see the beginning of this character, and we can focus on, okay, this character is established. Let's go explore tombs. Let's get into all of the aspects that have made Tomb Raider so endearing to so many people. Like that's the message that they've been saying with this game, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Cool.
You know?
And I got to respect them for not showing off too much of the tombs at this point.
Right. Like, I want to go into those tombs and have there be so much stuff to find. Like, my favorite conversation, the best case scenario for me is to come into work and like you and Huber and whoever is playing Fallout or Rise of the Tomb Raider, and you're like, hey, did you find this thing? And I say, no, wait, where is it? And they're like, oh, if you go into this one spot in the tomb, if you look here, you'll find it. That's what I want that game to be.
Sure. Do we smell success for Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. If it's anything like Lara Croft Go, I'm in.
Actually, I will
like
say
it.
that I do hope for more puzzle elements.
Yeah,
Sure.
me too.
Although one thing I really do like about the previous Tomb Raider game is the fact that it did feel like you were in a very connected space.
I love
it
that.
did have
Yeah, I love
that kind of
big time.
Metroid sense of okay, I got a thing and now I can go other places, and I'm like I'm going back through an area that I've already been in, but it's different because I can do things that I couldn't do before.
I think they can still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so as well, and I hope that is an element of this new game.
Yeah.
I also think that with Microsoft publishing, it will get a proper media blitz, and you won't really be able to escape it.
Speaking of media blitzes, here's one with a guaranteed media blitz. Star Wars Battlefront.
I was going to say, I hope Tomb Raider doesn't get lost under Fallout and Star Wars and Rainbow Six.
Star Wars Battlefront is just a week later on
Yeah.
November 17th.
Like,
That's going to be huge.
It's going to be tough for Tomb Raider, but I think
Yeah.
I think the marketing will be there.
Will Star Wars Battlefront be huge?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it's going to be so huge.
Yeah.
No, I was saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I wish that some of these games had come out in the summer. Like,
Yeah.
such a missed opportunity. Just,
But they all want that Black Friday.
don't want
Yeah, I
that Black
know.
Friday, but it would
Yeah.
have been great to have
It's just funny because
Mad
I
Max or
remember
Tomb Raider.
like one of the reviews we put up was like, oh, you're still doing reviews? And the kids were still doing reviews.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because we were so
Because it had been so
bankrupt
long
over the
since we had
summer.
put a review up
Oh,
in,
sure.
in July. You know?
Yeah.
Between people being out and just the lack of like bigger games.
Yeah, it's been a pretty dry summer. There were still some games that I totally love that came out this summer. Star Wars Battlefront, I have high hopes for. I think it will do great.
In my ideal world, Star Wars Battlefront is a serious, actual Game of the Year contender.
Can I tell you what I think will be the main thing people say about it is not enough content? I imagine that. I'm foreseeing that pop up a lot. How do you think they can fight that?
I'm going to need you to be more specific. Not enough content. How specifically? Like, not enough modes, not enough maps?
Yeah, they're gonna
Other
say not enough
combinations?
modes.
I think maps will be could be potentially a big thing.
That'll be huge because there's 4 worlds it launches with. I think you get that 5th one for free in December.
The thing that's weird for me, though, and I'm only speaking for myself, is in Battlefield specifically, I only play one mode. I
Sure.
only play Conquest because the nature of those games, it's so big and there's so much for me to do and there's so much creativity involved. That's all I need. It's not... I feel like I sometimes need less in Battlefield because multiplayer itself is sort of so sandboxy. I wonder if that complaint will register in the same way. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't dig it. I mean, we saw Rocket League, which has not enough content, and it is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. With multiplayer games, I maybe just have to find a great progression through the game. You know what I mean? As long as you're still playing the same perfect mode, that you have some sort of progression. But yeah, I hope it does okay. Oh my goodness.
Don, you're anticipating Battlefront, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm not worried about the content. You just use your imagination. No, the old Battlefront, I used to play the same map like over and over and over for basically a couple hours, a whole afternoon almost.
What was your favorite map?
Endor.
Oh, okay.
Endor. I love that one. Yeah.
Endor is a sick planet. Star Fox Zero comes out on November 20th.
That I am worried about.
All right.
All right.
I like it. From what I played so far, I actually do like it. But the chance of that thing making a mark is pretty slim.
That's the thing, Blood. Making a mark is a really great phrase for it. I expected it to blow up at E3. They certainly showed a lot of it at E3, but I don't think it, as you said, it didn't make an impact.
Right.
Yeah, it's
People
strange.
are very down on the graphics, and with the rest of the stuff we just outlined for that month, it's like even people that want to play Star Fox are probably still going to be playing
Star Wars. Yeah.
Or Fallout or any of those games.
Yeah.
One of the most frequent comments I see on GameTrailers videos, particularly when it comes to reviews, is, okay, based on this review, this is the game that I'm buying for the month, or this game looks really interesting, the review did a good job of presenting it, but I've already allocated my funds for the month on
Which
this
is
other
real.
game.
Very real concern, yeah.
We get those comments all the time,
yeah.
And if you look at that month, yeah, it's just going to get swallowed. Like, between all of those choices, unfortunately, I don't think that many people are going to pick Star Fox, you know, if they have a very limited budget. And that's not saying anything against the game. I just think that's the reality of the situation.
I do think the holiday crowd is going to be buying that as gifts, as a gift for young kids.
Oh, Star Fox.
Yeah, Star
that kind
Fox,
of thing?
for sure.
Okay.
Or, you know, maybe a parent that now can buy Star Fox for their kid.
Yeah.
Right? We loved it, and now we have kids. We're of that age. But the thing is, young kids are also going to be playing Battlefront, you know? Like,
yeah, buy them Star Wars. Do the right thing, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, it's like you want to buy them Star Fox. They want the Star Wars.
Yeah, it's
kids love the Star Wars. I've learned that.
I mean, even Star Fox 64, which was easily the biggest of the games in terms of, you know, popularity, that was a summer game.
Whoa.
I remember playing that, you know, like, you know, during summer camp with friends and all of that, you know, and unlocking all of the various things in multiplayer. And
sure.
So, yeah, throwing it out there in the middle of everything else and so far failing to show why it's a big deal and not just another Star Fox game. It's rough.
Is that Nintendo's only big holiday release?
That and Super Mario Maker.
Which comes out.
Well, and then we have Xenoblade in December.
Oh, Xenoblade.
Which we haven't gotten to yet.
I think I may have skipped over Yoshi's Woolly World because that's out in most other countries.
In Europe,
yeah,
and everywhere else.
And Japan. So yeah, those are basically their 4 big games this fall. Yeah, Xenoblade might be great. We'll get there. XCOM though, I have down for November. I don't have a date for it, but apparently that's a November game. XCOM 2. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know.
Also, doesn't feel like it should be coming out in November, but.
That could have been a summer game.
Oh, that can get buried hard. I think it can hit like a very particular PC audience though, because that's a PC exclusive. Mm-hmm. It's its own kind of game. It's, you know, counter programming basically. You put up the rom-com the weekend that a huge action movie comes out.
Yeah.
Ben doesn't feel good about it.
I mean, XCOM Enemy Unknown is a beloved game. It won our 2012 Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like it received pretty much universal praise.
Mm-hmm.
If that game is coming out in November, they need to be more confident about it.
Sure.
Like, I went to the E3 presentation. It was incredibly brief. I've seen almost nothing. I know almost nothing about the game. Despite following every piece of news that comes out, it's like, if this is a sequel to one of the biggest games that you've put out in years, why do I not know more about it?
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's coming out in November when it's so stacked.
It might be a prime candidate for delay.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's a prime candidate for delay.
And I don't think it would hurt it, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's one where you can't talk about mom and dad going to GameStop and saying XCOM 2.
Right.
I'll buy that little card for the download code.
Imagine if XCOM 2 came out in February, for example.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good February game. That's a great February game.
Dark Souls 3 come out in February?
I think it might be March.
Oh, March.
Not positive though.
It's March.
Okay. Thank you for that definitive answer. Let's move on to December, our last month of the year.
Quite a few things actually this year, which some of them might help get pushed.
Yes. I don't have a lot of dates for these. I have a lot of question marks for December. Xenoblade Chronicles X, as we just talked about, Nintendo's last big Wii U game. Here's the weird thing is I don't know if I've seen a lot of positive reception for this because it is out in Japan. Is that true? Is that just my weird perception from outside, or are people loving this game right now?
My impression, I don't necessarily know how Japan has received it, but people that have imported it and played through it have really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I know.
Great.
Like my roommate imported it, and he really likes it, and he was a big proponent of the original Xenoblade Chronicles.
What's your roommate say about it?
He says the combat is absolutely fantastic.
Great.
That it feels really, really good. He is not able to comment on the story,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of those games. But
Yeah, I can't imagine playing a game like that.
Oh,
In
an
Japanese?
RPG?
Oh, in Japanese,
and
yeah.
Absolutely.
to miss all of that story, to me, that's the whole point.
And I think you're right. I mean, it is a huge part of the story too. Like, or the game's success. It needs that to be good for it to really succeed.
People
I think.
telling you where to go, you kind of miss that, so you're like have the wiki open the whole time or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a
Why
weird,
does he
weird
do
way to
it,
do
Ben?
He
I
can't
would
wait.
do it.
You would?
I would. To me, I didn't want to buy a Japanese Wii U and import it. Like, it was just too much money. But
If you had the Wii U, you'd be down to buy that
I
game.
would totally, yeah. Yep.
Because I mean, it's a giant robot flying around in a huge field with dinosaurs in it.
Does this game have any chance to not get completely buried, though?
Yes.
I think it's got
so?
a little. If it being in December gives it a little bit of a chance.
It could get that 500,000. I think this game could get that 500,000.
What I'm worried about is not only it coming out in December after such a stacked November, but it being another gigantic RPG in a year full of Witcher 3s and Phantom Pains and Fallout 4s. Like, at a certain point, are some of the people interested in this game going to say to themselves, like, I just can't do this right now?
Yeah.
I hope they're all on winter break. I hope this is good. Just like, oh yeah, school is out.
Okay.
Yeah, like you were playing Rock Band with your buds
Yeah.
at school, and then you came home, and then you pick up Xenoblade Chronicles.
But
Yeah.
I definitely feel that argument though, because after I mean even Bloodborne is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And so after a while, like you just kind of want to get through a couple of quicker games. Like you look at another 100-hour game, like
Yeah.
man.
It might hurt at review season for sure, or in GOTY season.
It's actually going to be
absolutely.
really tricky for that in review season. Yeah.
December 8th is Hitman. No subtitle. This game is called Hitman.
Delay.
Yeah, it might get another prime
Because
candidate.
Just Cause 3 is also December.
Yeah, I have that down
So why
too.
are they putting both of those games out in December?
And Just Cause 3, there looks like nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
Whereas Hitman's got a lot of iffy situations surrounding it, I think.
I think Just Cause 3, I think it will scratch an itch that a lot of those other games we just mentioned won't.
Mhm.
And I think that there will definitely be a lot of people that, as they're wrapping up their time with Battlefield or maybe while they're playing Fallout, it's like, I wish I could blow stuff up in Fallout. Let me go, pick up Just Cause 3 and knock some buildings over. Yeah.
Just Cause 3, great first 15. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
15 minutes is you're already blowing stuff up, most likely.
Yeah.
We can't talk to it for certain, but I mean, like that wingsuit just flying. The idea of just flying through this world is just so crazy to me. I'm actually, it's probably in my top 3 for this fall. I'm really excited about Just Cause 3. Why is that surprising?
I'm just surprised. I don't know why. I just figured you'd maybe be like Yokai Watch, Battlefront, and maybe Tomb Raider. I don't know.
Yokai Watch, it's a big question mark. Just Cause 3, I look at it and I'm enamored by what I see in the footage. You know what I mean? I
The-
just
the
have a
f-
connection to what I'm seeing.
The funny thing is, what makes me feel like Just Cause 3 sort of has a chance in the midst of all this is I actually feel, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it's a game that you don't need to invest in. Like all these, like Fallout, okay, you're invested in this huge world and following the story, and Battlefront, you're invested in learning how to actually be valuable in that battlefield. But Just Cause 3 is like, I'm just gonna jump in and blow some
play.
stuff up for half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm done, and I'll go back to it tomorrow night.
Yeah, the bad guy is a bad guy. He's
Yeah.
a dictator. Perfect. We get it. Like, I'm just so ready for that game. That is nailing it. Persona 5 is purportedly still coming out this year in the U.S.
Really bad. They have not backed down yet.
They refuse to.
They've been doubling down on it. Actually,
Yeah.
there was an interview recently where Atlas USA said, "No, it's 2015. It's happening."
Yeah.
All right. Xenoblade's done then.
Yeah, you're done. Good night.
Goodbye.
That means there has to be a big blowout at TGS, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if it doesn't show up at TGS, what is happening? Persona 5 is a goatee.
It might be. It
might
might
be.
just be coming in December, hitting hard. You know.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it could be huge. I honestly think it has a huge potential to be huge. I think like in this weird sphere that we're in, Persona could be supported by a mass audience.
But isn't it frustrating then that the way that they're handling it? You know what I mean? I feel like
I honestly half expect them to actually not show the game.
Up until release?
I think they might just put the game on shelves.
isn't that the
Beyonce.
worst decision? I feel like Persona,
I don't know, because the way that you're acting about the game already, without having seen anything but that awesome trailer,
there you go. That's the word.
you had
though.
that one trailer. They do another trailer, game's out.
Do
2
you
weeks.
personally feel like you need to see something to know that you're into this game?
No. I know that I'm in no
Right.
matter what. But what I'm saying is, I really truly believe, and this is not just my own affection for it. I think overflowing. I think Persona is on the precipice of an actual breakthrough, like almost like on a Souls level of if this is marketed correctly and like given enough time to kind of grow, Persona could be a big deal. Like sell a lot of units, big deal. And I feel like if they just sort of release it, they're not giving themselves the highest chance of that happening.
But
You know what I
here's
mean?
the thing, though. Look at how Persona 3 and then Persona 4 both sold. Not just how many they sold, but how they sold. And it was very much over time, word of mouth. You
They
know,
had
I think
legs,
sales
yeah.
actually probably went up at points.
Yeah.
Rather than just being huge peak at launch and then nothing, and then let's get some sales and bring it up here and
No,
there.
you're right. But I feel like because they've already put in that work of the word of mouth and have already seen the success from Persona 3 to Persona 4, I think they could get behind Persona 5 in a big way, have that huge peak at the beginning, and then only watch it grow over time.
Unless this is a strategic move from Atlas, and that they know that their audience is not like, middle America, Joe Schmo. They know that, and they know like what their install base is, and that they're already catering to it, and that they don't need to spend money on like marketing or advertising because they will have, like Kyle said, they'll have legs and they'll have that like grassroots promotion for their game. I agree with you that I think Persona could be huge, and I don't think there's anybody that we work with or we like intermingle with that doesn't agree on that.
Yeah, I even think Middle America Joe Schmo is a weirdo in 2015. I think
Right?
I think he's ready for Persona.
Let's get him ready.
There are going to be articles out there, not written by me because I think this is a terrible headline, but there are going to be articles out there that go, Persona 5 is better than Fallout 4.
Sure.
There are people that are going to say that kind of thing.
Lock that one in. That's
Yeah.
a safe bet.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple more Wii U games that I totally forgot about. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. So moving on, Yakuza 5.
Yakuza 5.
Huber wanted me to bring this up. I told him what I was doing with this episode. He said, if you don't mention Yakuza 5, I will come in there and shout it. Yakuza 5 is a game from 2012. Ben, why should I be excited about this?
Because no one has any idea how good Yakuza is.
Okay.
I picked up Yakuza 3 out of Lark.
Wait, we got to stop. Sorry, Huber calls it Yakuza. It's Yakuza.
Yakuza.
What are we
Yakuza.
doing? Yeah, we all get in the little Huber groove. Yakuza 5.
Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Now I feel self-conscious and don't want to say the word anymore.
This is Huber's fault.
Yeah. Those games.
Why 5?
Those games do so much with their open world. They fill that space with meaningful stuff to do, and the characters are so rich, and they spend so much time with them. Like, the story of Yakuza 3 is probably one of my favorite video game stories of the last 10 years. Like,
Whoa.
I am that impressed by it, and I will
That's
go to
huge.
bat for it that much. I think the 5th entry in this series, when it comes out, could review so well and could pick up word of mouth in such a way that I think it could greatly exceed expectations.
Wow. Okay, you sold it, Ben.
Yeah. I pay attention to this. Like, this is worth digging out your PS3 for and downloading.
So that's it, basically. That's our year. We'll see what those come out. Elise was surprised by my top 3. I'm curious, of those games we just talked about, what you're personally most amped for. Elise, go ahead. What are you amped on?
Oh man, do you mind if I just look at
Yeah,
the
that's
sure,
what's
sure.
gigantic. That we
Ben,
remember we just talked
do you
about.
have one in the barrel?
Yeah, I got some in the barrel.
Okay.
I mean,
Go ahead, Elise.
so I'm looking forward to Tomb Raider.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually looking forward to Triforce Heroes, Soma, as I mentioned.
You get top 3.
You get top 3.
top 3.
You're going to have to boot one out if you
I
want to
don't know.
mention another
I
game.
have to think about any kind of distinct ordering. Maybe those 3.
Okay, that's a good 3.
Persona. God, I gotta finish Persona 3.
Blood, what's your top
Don't
3?
look at me like that.
I think Fallout is definitely the top
Wow.
of them for me. Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot here that I want to play, but I'm not sure like picking between them. I'd maybe Tomb Raider.
Whoa.
That game's just gonna be a good time.
Yeah, we're just measuring our amplitude right now, Blood.
Yeah. And then I don't really know after that.
Okay, so that just means you're not amped. Do you know what I mean? If something isn't hopping out at you, you're just like, oh, I'm not that amped about these games. Which is a safe thing to say. I mean, that's an okay thing to say. I mean, Ben, what are you amped about?
I feel like when I say my top 3, it's going to sound like I don't care about the rest of these games, but I really do. This was not an easy top 3 to
Should we try to guess them?
Yeah, try to guess them.
Whoa.
Isona's number 1.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to get the other 2.
Is COD 1?
No.
Halo?
Nope.
Star Wars.
Nope.
Whoa.
I'm going to say my top 3 now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Xenoblade?
Persona 5,
Mm-hmm.
Xenoblade Chronicles X,
Wow, nice call.
and Yakuza 5. Those
Wow.
are my 2.
Yakuza.
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 Classic Ben
Yakuza.
Chen.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I am extremely excited for Fallout, extremely excited for Call of Duty, but yeah, those are my top 3.
This has clearly turned into a long episode. That's on me. But I had a great time talking about these games with everybody. We do have to do, well, you're the one who started this conversation, but we got to go through it pretty briefly. This is from Tongue Surgery. With gigantic open-world games like Mad Max, Far Cry 4, and the Assassin's Creed series, does anyone
We
feel...
don't know if Mad Max is gigantic yet.
It looks gigantic. Does anyone feel discouraged or disinterested by having so much side stuff to do in these kinds of games? It feels like the game makers are only including so much fluff, and not that they genuinely have ideas on how to fill an open world with interesting activities. Games like The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 usually also have a lot of optional content, but those games usually get praised for the vast amounts of things to do. So my question is, what can other game studios learn from The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 for producing compelling side content? How do we prevent open world games from being boring is basically the question.
Make your side con have stories.
Sure.
I think part of it is on us, though. Like, a really terrible critique of a game is it is only 10 hours long. Like, that criticism on its own is completely meaningless.
Sure.
It's not how long is a game versus cost. It is how meaningfully filled are those hours, Like, there's a language that we use that makes it so game developers think they have to include these arbitrary things that don't matter to us, I guess.
As Michael Huber would say, quantity over
No.
quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Personally, I am the person that gets deterred by those
huge
massive
game.
open world games because I feel like you said, it just becomes arbitrary. It just
Yeah.
becomes like superfluous things that I'm doing, and I'm not feeling any kind of satisfaction from it.
Yeah.
It's not furthering the story.
Feathers.
They're feathers, exactly. It's just plumage on the story. I mean, I don't ever really feel like time is necessarily indicative of how good a game is, and I don't know how to fix it, to be quite honest. Because some people actually really love that. They love that there's more and more to this game. They don't necessarily need to feel a connection between a side mission and, the main storyline. So there's an audience for it, and maybe you personally, whoever made this comment, like
Tongue surgery.
our tongue surgery.
Yeah, our tongue surgery.
Maybe maybe it's just you, man. 'Cause sometimes I feel like it's just me.
Well, it's not. It's clearly at least the two of you.
The
Yeah,
two of us.
I mean,
Just the
again-
two of us.
Again, if you're gonna have me picking up a bunch of things or opening treasure chests and that kind of, like, just why? Yeah, what is it leading up to? Because that's the thing. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm just wasting time. What's interesting is The Witcher 3, like it is a really good example of ways to do it right, but it still has a little bit of its own filler in there. It's like, okay, like rescue this guy out of a cage or throw a bomb in a monster nest, and it's like there's so much stuff to do in this game. Like, I don't know, like just have me do some cool monster contracts, cut out the ones that feel repetitive, and just leave it to like the really meaty stuff.
Sure.
I am convinced that there are a number of people out there that don't actually care about the things that they're doing in a video game. Like, whether it's fun, whether it's miserable, whatever it is, it doesn't matter to them.
Cutscene skippers.
Yeah, they just want to tell people that they did things.
Sure.
The only reason they do it is so they can say, yes, I did collect all those feathers in Assassin's Creed. They take so much satisfaction in being able to say that they're ruining video games.
Whoa.
Like
Boom.
Have you ever had a conversation with somebody about a video game and you're like, oh man, I love Far Cry 3, and rather than say qualities that they like about it, they're like, yeah, I skinned every animal. I just went to every radio tower. They only speak in terms of the minutia that they did.
That's how they're finding their sense of accomplishment.
Right, and it's mind blowing, and it's like, no, like none of that stuff matters. What you're telling me doesn't matter to me. But it's interesting. People talk like that.
I talk that way about Captain Toad. I'm guilty of this myself.
You just talk about how far you are?
I came in and I was like, oh yeah, like picking up all the gems. I'm getting all the specific, like, unique missions.
Oh, you talking about Lara Croft Go as well?
Yeah, Lara Croft Go games.
I didn't even realize those artifacts were in there until I like accidentally tapped the wrong part of the screen. I'm like, what is?
Yeah, I came into
what
it.
is
I was
this
like,
thing?
blood, how many gems you got?
It's all how we all talk about games. Tongue Surgery, thank you so much for starting that conversation. It is now officially time for bets. Metal Gear Solid 5, of course, releases on September 1st. How many Twitter followers will @MadMaxGame have 2 weeks from now? Right now, @MadMaxGame has 7,516 followers. Where will it be 2 weeks from now? Oh, I guess it's fair time to mention there will be no episode next week of GTA.
Oh yeah, I'm like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we're taking a week off. So yeah, we'll be back here 2 weeks from now. How many followers will @MadMaxGame, the official Twitter account of the Mad Max game, have at this point? Who is first to reveal? Oh, it's me. Okay. My bet is 7,916. Elise, for the super seat. What is your bet?
8,300.
Bloodworth, what is your bet?
7,800.
Ooh. And Ben, for Brandon Jones, what is your bet?
500.
That many people would just stop following.
I think a lot of people are just going to wake up and they're going to think, wait, what are we doing following this Mad Max account? Mm-hmm. And they're going to stop.
Ben, can I tell you something? Let me lock it in. Okay. I'm a little suspicious you're sabotaging Brandon with that bet.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to write any number I choose?
You absolutely are allowed to.
I stand by that number.
We're scumbagging it.
Wow.
Oh, that makes it a game. That's how you play the game. Brandon should have gone to PAX if he wanted to win bets. So last week's
Till
bet.
Tuesday, even. I can't get over that.
What? Oh, how long they're going to be at PAX? You got a long chance to meet Brandon. He's going to be around there a while.
Yeah.
Madden NFL 16 has had a huge ad campaign, teasers for its commercial. Its commercial being the Madden NFL 16, the movie trailer, basically. Huge budget. Wanted to know how many views it would be at this point this week. It went live Friday, actually, the day after we recorded.
Yeah, some way off.
Jones bet
Sure.
2.4 million. I bet 10 million. Brad in the super seat bet 1.5. Bloodworth bet 600,000. The number of views that video has today is 8,902,036. That means that I won that one by a pretty huge margin. Man, people love that kind of stuff. Here's the thing: is when I was watching it, I was actually like, "This is pretty good." Like reluctantly loving it. Ben, did you watch it?
No, I just watched the teasers.
You got to watch the actual thing.
Okay, maybe my opinion will change.
Because the thing is, it's stupid and it's expensive, but it's still funny beneath all those things.
Okay.
And so, like, when people are having fun with their money, like Activision does it sometimes with their Call of Duty commercials, I'm like, all right, I'll give it up to you. I can't hate.
All right, I'll watch it.
Have you seen the commercial, you two?
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
Okay, it's really hard to sell. You got to believe that it's funny.
I'm sure last year's was great.
Antonio Brown's is a guy named Sticky Buns. Like, that is so funny.
That's pretty good.
That's so funny.
I have no entry point for this. I don't have cable, so I'm not going to catch it on TV.
Oh, no, they would
But
never
I
air
also-
the whole thing on TV.
I also don't know anything about football.
I feel like you don't even need it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it and I'll let you know.
We'll all check it out. So that means that our current score is Super Seat 10, Bloodworth 13, Jones 5 with a lightning bolt. We know that won't move next week. And now I have 7 points. So as winner of the bet, I get to promote my Twitter handle, promote any video on the website, and also give my custom trademark sign-off. My Twitter handle is @KyleBossman. The video I want to promote is 10 things you need to know about SOMA, apparently on our website.
Isn't it 8?
It is 8, but I'll take it.
All right, 8 things you need to know about SOMA. Look at that. Don't look at any Assassin's Creed trailers.
Just Google that, by the way.
No,
Most likely.
I'll try to put a link in here.
Oh yeah, if that manages to work, yeah.
Yeah, if that manages to work. Yeah, right. You can probably Google 8 things about SOMA, and then your video will come up. Yeah.
Yeah, and type GameTrailers as well, and
But you can
you'll
put
find
a
it.
little box that people want to click on.
Okay, cool. All right.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, me too, apparently. I need to know about SOMA. I need to learn about it. And then, just want to thank everybody for coming. Thanks for filling in for Brandon, Ben. Elise, thanks for superseding.
Thanks for
Don,
having me.
thank you so much. Is that all we get down as a wave? People can't hear your wave.
I'll see you next time, world.
Hold on, you almost signed off, though.
Don signed off.
Sorry about that.
See you next time, world. Because he said hello, world at the top. That's too good, Don. If you found this episode too long, I personally apologize for that. But it was fun to cover all those games that we did. Of course, we left some out. I apologize for that as well. And always remember that tomorrow is forever all ours!
Hi, I'm Ryan Stevens, and you might remember me from GameTrailers during the Viacom years from such hit H.264s as Level, Invisible Walls, 13 Reasons to be Thankful for Games, the Video Game Aptitude Test, and of course, the Invisible Walls rap.
I sure hope that this was enjoyable, because after this, I'm unemployable.
The last line might have proven prophetic, but I have not been idle. Today, I humbly invite you to partake in my new audio podcast, Game is a 4-Letter Word. You can find it on iTunes or go to g4lw.net to find the RSS feed. Game is a 4-Letter Word isn't your typical gaming podcast. We're not doing anything with reviews or news. This is going to be about storytelling. We're going weekly for 11 episodes, a full lawyer's dozen. And God willing, there's going to be a video companion piece for each episode. Think of it sort of as a trailer, but also as a visual aid showing off some of the more visual elements that you'll hear in the stories in the show. If any of this sounds cool, by all means check it out.